Hi, everybody. Joshua here with I Cut Grass. It is December the 31st, 2018. Today, I want to talk with you about keeping a schedule and a day minder and an e-copy of that. Before I get started, a couple quick notes. First thing I'm going to point out, I've got tape on earrings today and painted fingernails. My 5-year-old daughter got this jewelry kit for Christmas, and now every morning she wants to do makeup on me and everything else. So I get to experience the joy of that, maybe for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, I just felt it was appropriate to share that with you. Real quick, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. If you know somebody that you think could benefit from my videos, I hope that you would share this information with them. Hopefully, we can help as many people as possible, okay? Now, getting started. Oh, and then before I get started, as I always say, you might find this information that I share with you to be beneficial to help you grow. You might find it to kind of basically reinforce why you do things the way you do. The nice thing about having your own business is you get to make the own judgment calls and the changes. But at some way, some fashion, I hope these videos help. Now, scheduling. I run 2 types of calendars. I run a physical copy. I run a print, or I guess 3, a physical copy from the e-calendar, and then I run an e-calendar. Real briefly, the e-calendars, I use Outlook. Now, first of all, I keep all of my financial information up in the QuickBooks. I like the program, though I will say there are times that it seems that it loses information. I'll do a sidebar on that here in just a minute. But I record all my payments in there. There are some other programs out there like Yardbook that I've heard from people that can do it all. I'm a creature of habit. This is what works for me. I like how this works. I stay organized with it. Will I reconsider in the future? Possibly, but my philosophy is don't fix something that's not broken. Now, the sidebar onto QuickBooks, I have noticed several times over the past few years that it seems that it drops information that I entered into the system with no explanation. A customer will call me and say, hey, I paid this bill already. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I remember entering that. But for whatever reason, it didn't get recorded into QuickBooks. So to avoid that kind of stuff and to help myself, I've printed out what I call an executive desk book. And you can order these online. But every time somebody makes a payment, I record their name, the date that it was paid, how it was paid, how much was paid, if there's a confirmation number or anything like that. And then there's a box in there for QuickBooks. And I check that once I've reconciled it into QuickBooks. And then there's a box that says statement. And at the end of the month, when I print out my statement and I see that it's recorded into the statement, I check that off. I keep that as an easy point of reference so I don't have to pull everything up through QuickBooks if somebody calls or if I find that there's a problem. It's basically, double checking and triple checking your work because you don't want to lose money that you've already received. And these computer programs will at times fail and they can lose information. Now, getting back to the scheduling, the day minder that I use, and I just ordered mine, it'll be here on Tuesday or Wednesday. The day minder that I use has a couple different features. Number one, it has a monthly view, and then it has, per the week, a daily view. So you see all the days of the week there. Now, I like the monthly view because I put down all of my bills, all of my payments that I have to pay each month. I schedule those on there for a quick reference. And then when I make the payments, I write down the date that I paid. In that same due date, I write down the date that I paid, how much I paid, if there's a confirmation number. And then I take a yellow marker and I run it through it. That way I have that for reference. I know what I paid. I know when I paid it. And at the end of the year, or as the year progresses, if I need to refer to that, I can. And then when the year's over, I file it and have a record for it. Now, on the weekly, daily view, I like this. I like to use this for any scheduled appointments, whether I'm doing a marketing event, if I have an estimate, whatever it may be. I like to write it down here, and then I also schedule everything in QuickBooks. Okay, or not QuickBooks, everything into Outlook, and I like using Outlook. I'm familiar with it. So when I have a weekly mowing client, it's scheduled. I can set that for a recurring appointment every week or bi-weekly if I want to. You know my opinion if you watch my videos on weekly and bi-weekly customers. But then what will happen is at the top of the week, I'll print out the schedule for the week. So I'll get an individual piece of paper for each day. Now, I like this for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it's a quick reference. I don't have to worry if my phone has been stolen. I don't have access to my calendar. If it broke, if the battery died, if the app is messing up or whatever. But with a physical copy like this, what I can also do, what I do for me, is I go in next to the name and address that it prints out automatically each week. I can write down the time that I was there. And then at the bottom of the week, what I do is I take this and I file it. Now, I do my reconciling and I do my invoicing a little bit differently. I do it at the bottom of each day or at the top of the following day, real early in the morning. And once I've invoiced them or once I've recorded the transaction, I'll take a yellow marker on this schedule and I'll run a line through it. If they've paid it, I'll do the same thing. Or maybe sometimes I'll run a green marker if they've already paid so I know that they're done. That way, in the future, at the bottom of the month, if I invoice somebody, and I think, man, did I get all the mowing? I can pull out the calendar for each week and say, yeah, I marked them. I invoiced them. Oh, they paid this date. It just helps for a backup. And you need to have those things. Especially, you get these customers sometimes that call and they'll say, man, you didn't mow the grass this day. And I pull out the calendar and I say, yeah, I did. And this happens all the time. Yeah, I did. I was there from 9 until 9:45 on December the 31st, 2018. And they'll say, oh. Now, what I also do is I also take a before and after picture. Now, some of that might seem like it's ridiculous and extra work, but it maybe takes 2 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes. Okay? There's no reason not to do it. But here's why you want to do this. You get to the bottom of the year, someone hasn't paid you, or someone decides that they're not going to pay you for whatever reason, and if you decide you're going to sue them, then you can show a judge and say, Judge, this is a copy of, these are, the way that I record all of my invoices, the way that I record all my charges, my activity. You can see on this date I was here, and this is the time that I was here from. It helps you, and it shows credibility in the eyes of the judge for you, so you're not just saying, hey, I cut the grass. Because if you ever sue someone, they're going to look for that kind of stuff. And then he's going to use his or her own judgment to say, yeah, this guy's on top of it. It makes sense. So when I cut that grass, for example, or I clear the snow, okay, I take a picture, timestamp it or whatever, before and after, and I email it to myself. Or maybe I text it to myself, okay? So that way later the next day when I'm doing my invoicing, I have the ability to do that. Now, some programs out there allow you to do invoicing while you are there. And if you like doing that, if that works for you, that's great. You can do so. This is just a system that works for me, and it helps give me peace of mind up here, okay? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the nice thing about having a backup copy too of your schedule is that, or a paper copy, is that if you can't access the schedule for whatever reason, you have it. And then also, if you lose your paper copy, you have an e-copy. So you just find something that works for you. But the nice thing about having this too is I got one for all my guys, right? And I'm looking at my calendar, and I'm mowing 200 lawns a week. And I know by the end of the year, I want to be at 300. And I've got a marketing program going and everything else. And I look at my calendar, and I'm like, gosh, this week in February, I don't have anything scheduled. That helps to hold me accountable, to see it like this. It's different just knowing in the back of my head, but actually seeing it and saying, holy crap, man, I've got a whole wasted week here. How am I going to be productive? How am I going to get my goals achieved if I have open time like this? So then I know, hey, I've got this week open. I can do searches for conferences. I can do searches for, marketing classes, or, continuing education, for example, whatever it may be. I have a 3B license in the state of Indiana. And every 5 years, I have to have 20 hours and continuing credit hours. All that stuff is important. All that stuff matters, and this is how we keep that stuff recorded. So give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Have an e-copy and have a paper copy. And some people I know will have 2 paper copies. They'll run 2 day minders, okay, and they'll keep one at their desk, and they'll keep one up with them out in the field. I think that's a little bit excessive for me. I like 1 copy, and yeah, I'm running a risk. If it's gone, it's gone. But you know what? I've got an e-copy too, and then I can transfer everything there if I want to, or I can run another, paper copy like this, and just, every once in a while, once a week, go in and back up the information there. You find out what works best for you. But the goal here is to keep yourself accountable. The goal here is to keep yourself organized, because as you get more business, it will become increasingly difficult for you to just remember. Doesn't matter how smart you are. Doesn't matter how good of a service you provide. It will become more difficult, and you need to write stuff down, and it's going to help. Guys, I hope this video helps. It's nothing really special here, but maybe you've considered running calendars like this. Maybe you don't. Whatever it is, hopefully it gives you some ideas, but it keeps you accountable to grow. We want to grow. You have to stay organized to grow, and this is one of the ways that you can do so. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope it's been a great year in 2018 for you. I hope that 2019 is even better. Set goals. Write them down on paper. Use sticky marks and put them, or stick papers and put them, on the mirror in the shower, in your truck, at your desk. Hold yourself accountable. If you just sit there and think about it, your business isn't going to grow, but you can explode and you can be very successful in this business, in this industry, if you apply yourself and if you're organized and if you have goals. Take it easy, guys. See ya.